Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good morning. Major reports this morning across the mainstream media that Thomas Tuchel has been promised a big bumper transfer kitty. Now, transfer kitties don't exist in the traditional sense, but they've promised to spend a lot of money. The media is always going to call it a kitty or a war chest. Doesn't quite work that way. Players will have to leave to bring people in. Balancing of the books, even at Chelsea, is important. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But Chelsea have got major assets that could raise huge amounts of funds in the market. They have promised Thomas Tuchel they will go all out and try to land his two biggest targets, who are Jadon Sancho and Erling Haaland, two of the most sought-after and well-coveted youngsters in world football. This has been reported this morning by Kelvin Palmer on the Sunday World. Also, Philip, whose Philip's name I now forget. It was in front of me. Good job I'm not a professional. I'm not. I'm a YouTuber. It is what I am and what I do. Simon Phillips. There we go. I've also reported on this morning as well. I want your views and your opinions on this, though, in relation to these players coming into Chelsea. Could it happen? Will it happen? What kind of impact do you think they will make? And who will the casualties be? That's the big question for me this morning. Who will the casualties be if these two players come in? To take you through the story, I'll go through it now with you in sort of skimming over this slightly. But here, the big headline this morning says Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel promised big transfer funds as he identifies two top targets. Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel has been promised a bumper transfer kitty. Ignore that part. You don't get a transfer kitty. You have to buy or sell. There's always a set amount of money for player expenditure. That will include wages, bonuses, agent fees. But yes, with Borussia Dortmund duo Erling Haaland and Sancho emerging as his big targets. Tuchel took over from Frank Lampard, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. With Dortmund struggling to qualify for next season's Champions League, despite an impressive 4-0 win against Schalke yesterday evening, that included goals from two of them. The club officials have confirmed that they're expecting Sancho to leave at the end of the season. We kind of know that for around 80 to 90 million pounds will be the asking price. It is reported that it will cost somewhere in the region of 200 million euros to take both of them away from Borussia Dortmund. So that's the first point where I see the comments say, can't be done then, can it? No way Chelsea are going to spend 200 million pounds. It isn't just about what they spend themselves net, it's what they raise. And we spoke about this a few days ago on the Football Terrace. It's, in my opinion, is highly likely that if Chelsea go for Haaland and Sancho, or any two stars in European football, there will be casualties. Ziyech, Ben Chilwell. I think Tammy could leave. I think Werner and Kai Havertz will probably be okay, but nothing would surprise me. There are players worth money in this Chelsea setup that could raise, in my view, at least 50%. At least 50% of the transfer fees required. And of course, free up much needed transfer salaries. There are particular players already that we've seen are not in favour with Thomas Tuchel. We also saw yesterday the way that Hudson-Odoi was pulled off the pitch. Now, Hudson-Odoi can learn from this. I think Hudson-Odoi is a tremendous talent. I think he will learn from it. But if we get to the end of the season and Thomas Tuchel isn't seeing what he wants from him, Hudson-Odoi is another individual who's highly talented that could raise money for Chelsea. So the first notion that there's no way Chelsea can afford both in one summer is such a ridiculous, uneducated football opinion. It's unbelievable. Will it happen? I don't know. The Haaland deal for me is going to be the hardest one for Chelsea to pull off, with the amount of clubs that are interested in him and everything else going on. But Chelsea Football Club have the power, they have the money, they have a top-level manager, and they're part of the greatest football league in the world. Comment here from Legend. Sorry, does that say? Legend here says, Terry, fake news, Haaland going to City and Sancho going to United. The news didn't say that Chelsea is a guaranteed, it's a done deal. So it's not fake news. This notion of fake news has got to stop. What this news is reporting that the biggest two targets for Chelsea are Haaland and Jadon Sancho. and that Chelsea are going to support Tuchel's endeavours to sign them. No one said these deals are done. No one said players have been contacted. Nobody said that personal terms have been arranged. Chelsea are going to try to sign both of them this summer. It is not fake news. It is a genuine report from credible journalists and Chelsea journalists very close to the football club that this is who Thomas Tuchel wants. I appreciate the super chat massively, but you're beyond wrong saying it's fake news because there's no claim that these deals are done, not in the original article or by myself today. Listen to what's being said. Thomas Tuchel has identified Sancho and Haaland as his main two targets, and that is who he wants to go after. A lot of people saying it isn't doable because of the money. No, it is because they're just going to sell. I think Chelsea fans have already got to wake up to the realization that at least 2, maybe 3 of last summer's signings could be out the door by the end of this campaign. Ben Chilwell isn't getting a sniff. He ain't getting a sniff. Ziyech barely involved. If Werner and Kai Havertz towards the end of the season don't pick things up, maybe Thomas Tuchel will have the same thoughts about them as well. Do me a favor right now, people, and smash that like button. We're going to open the lines up for you to come on and have your say. We are live as well today after all of the matches. We're doing match reviews for every single game today, so make sure you're here, tuned in and ready for the Football Terrace. Thank you to CFC Blue Army for signing up and becoming a legend of the Football Terrace. Look at that. Become a legendary member of the Football Terrace. And remember one thing about us here. We're going to be doing all the match reactions for the top 6 plus 1 for the rest of the season. Champions League, domestically, Europa League as well, unfortunately. And we'll be covering a lot of the transfer stories over the course of the summer. We're the only place that's going to give it to you straight. We're the only place that is unbiased. We're the only place that covers multiple teams and will give you perspective from all. We've got something big coming for you this summer as well to give you much more engagement with people in the know as well. And it isn't just going to be fan opinion. Indiana here says, Terry, we are saying that Tiny is a flop then. Look, right now, Timo Werner, use the word flops probably disrespectful, but yes, he's in that category right now. He's got to work hard to get out of it. If by the end of the season, Tuchel hasn't seen enough and Haaland can be signed, why would you not do it? Right now, I guarantee you, if you have to do it privately, if you sat down 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 Chelsea fans, more than 70%, if you said, listen, we can get your Haaland now, but it means Werner's got to go the other way. 70%, snap your hand off. 110%, that would be happening. 110%. Hams here says, let's sell everybody except Thiago Silva. Listen, it's going to be an interesting one. This is the one thing with Chelsea Football Club. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing for the overall running of the club because you win trophies and you've been successful. But I said this to you, man, back in the summer and got shot down. And you don't get this chat on generic echo chambers. Chelsea are ruthless. They are ruthless with managers. They are ruthless with players. If you don't cut it, a year might be all you get. You may end up getting 2. I don't care if you're a youngster with Chelsea running through your veins and your dad's John Terry, your godfather's Didier Drogba. If you're not performing and there's a better option out there in the market, Roman will spend. Man's a billionaire. That's what billionaires do, you know. As a general rule, billionaires just spend. I was at this... I was at an event once and there was this, it was supercars. I was walking around, right? I've never felt so poor and inadequate and small in my life. Legitimately, right? There was like the cheapest car that was like available for ordering was 350 grand. Most were like millions. This is how billionaires roll. There was this guy who I was told was from Russia, and then there was a gentleman. Looks like a Saudi prince to me, and they were all. This is amazing. They were bidding and fighting to buy a car that didn't even exist, and it cost £2.5 million. and it was just the shell. There was no engine built. They were saying this is something we're going to try and build over the next 10 years. It was like, this is what we're trying to achieve. This is what it would look like. They wanted to buy the shell, the frame. Like, you couldn't do anything with it. Your kids could play in it, maybe. I don't remember which one got it. I think it was the Saudi gentleman. £2.5 million on a shell, bruv. No engine, no seats, bro. I remember there was no seats. They were like molds, nothing in it, but they wanted it still. That's how billionaires roll. People have got to recognize that. We're going to have KJ on in a few moments. Then we're going to open the line to all of you, but you need to keep hitting that like button for me. Terry, you're saying the same thing a week ago hang on a second. Terry, you were saying the same thing a week ago regarding if new players come in. Like you said, somebody is going to get sacrificed. That's the nature of modern day football. Do you know what, bruv? I actually think that's been the nature of football forever. Think if any of you play Sunday League, I've done it. I was part of a Sunday League team, and I remember I was playing for a bit. And I was playing fullback positions and defensive positions because I'm bang average, right? And this young lad turned up to training, and he was a fullback, and he was mustard. He was mustard, right? And I remember driving home with my brother, and I'm like, I'm going to get drops, aren't I? He's like, my brother's a captain, and he looks at me and is like, yeah, you're getting drops because the guy's better. And in fairness, I cared about the club because like my friends played for it. My brother was the captain. I wanted him to win. So I knew that I become the linesman, isn't it? I become the linesman. And every so often when we were winning well, someone would run around the other side of the pitch when I was doing the lines and be like, Tell, you're going to get 10 minutes. And I was like, sweet. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. Neeks here says, Chelsea fans in the chat, would you swap Werner for Haaland? Answer, Neeks yes or Neeks no. I've seen a lot of Neeks yeses. Or Emmanuel says Neeks no. We have another super chat here. Keep getting your super chats in, people. It says, we don't even need Sancho. I don't understand how the board thinks sometimes. This is not FIFA where you buy all the best players. Brother. That's what Chelsea have been doing since 2003, bro. They just, this guy's been good for 6 months. We'll buy him. And listen, Jadon Sancho is better than any wide player that Chelsea have in their team. Haaland is better than any striker currently at Chelsea. They are both better than any attacking option you've got. Although you have brilliant attacking options, these two are just levels. And what's going to happen, in my opinion, is this is a very well-timed piece of information coming out of Chelsea. Because what it's going to do is to kick up the backside for the Ziyech's, for the Callum Hudson-Odois, based on what we saw or what was said yesterday by Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel wants a certain type of attitude and behavior on the football pitch. We're not talking about the music you listen to, the clothes you wear, how you talk to your mum, you know, what your friends get up to. It's about how you operate and how you behave on the field of play. He clearly isn't happy with certain players, taking them off early or not giving them opportunities. This is a shot across the bow. We will sign the replacements for you and move you out if you don't step up, if you don't start to deliver what we want. Because on ability, for instance, Ziyech and Werner, Callum Hudson-Odoi, these players have the ability. But ability and application are two very different things. And it isn't always a lack of trying to apply yourself. It's horses for courses. Maybe one or two of these Chelsea players are just not going to fit the Tuchel model. That's life. That is life. We're going to get man like KJ on right now. Hit that like and share button, people. Let's do this. KJ, morning, my brother. How you doing?
Yo. Listen, I saw the news yesterday, yeah. And it's just like, for flip's sake, because Chelsea are this team, yeah. Danny mentioned it. They just love stealing United targets, fam. Every single time, man. Them man took Hazard, them man took Mikel. You know what I mean? Them man took so many players from us, and I wouldn't be surprised if they took Robin as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would not be surprised if they took Sancho, who's one of our targets, and Haaland, or both at some point. Yeah. I don't think they'll be both in the same summer. I think Dortmund are a bit smarter than that. I don't think they would let, if Haaland goes, I don't know what they're going to do, Sancho. But if Sancho goes, I know they're going to try their damn hardest to keep Haaland. So it all depends on how Dortmund operate. If they don't get Champions League, it's going to be squeaky bum for time for them, innit? Because people are just coming in for Haaland, and Haaland might be like, yo, listen, I want to stay here for 2 years and leave on my release clause, but I could go now, innit? Like, I could really go now. So yeah, I personally believe that Chelsea are getting Sancho, and it makes me feel ill. But
you know what I'd say though about Haaland leaving is this: that the buyout clause comes into effect next summer. So there's lots of rumors in the 2020 summer, but it's the 2022 summer where it comes into fruition. This is where it becomes a hard choice for Dortmund. If Chelsea offer £100 million this summer, if nobody else comes in with any kind of offer for him, what they do know is in 12 months' time, they're only getting around 40, 50 million because that's what the buyout clause says. So it becomes, as you say, they have to then weigh up, do we take the extra 40, 50, 60 million, but know that we're not going to do as well in the league because you just can't replace Haaland. Like, there's no way of replacing him at this moment in time. In my opinion, he's too good. It becomes a real conundrum. In the same way that Sancho was, there's a part of them now that I know for a fact there's part of Dortmund right now that wishes they took the 100-odd million Man United offered, because they're getting £20 million less next year, and they may not get the Champions League that they thought they would get by keeping him. Does that make sense? So they end up, actually, if you look at the Champions League money being worth 70, 80 million to them, plus the 20 million, they're almost going to lose £100 million not doing that deal with Man United last summer. The problem for United now is, and this is where both sides could lose out. If Chelsea then come in and get him in front of us, our refusal to play last summer means we never get him. And once he goes Chelsea, we're never signing him. So yeah, it's a scary. As a Man United fan, I'm like you. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And if Chelsea do bring in these two players with Thomas Tuchel, they're going to win the league, bruv.
No, it's curtains, fam. It's curtains. It's curtains. And it's literally, it's just like, as much, my days, as much as people want to believe, yeah, that Sancho's coming United in the summer, that, yo, we're going to go get him, the price has been lowered. If the price has been lowered, that also means more clubs can afford him. Yeah. We ain't getting him, fam. It's done.
And we struggle, KJ. We struggle. We wait it out way too long. We're not the sort of club that goes in and does the business there and then.
Yeah,
we're always trying to get a deal. Even when there's a deal, we're trying to get a deal. Do you know what I mean? We lose out all the time. Personally, I don't think Haaland leaves. I think if they sign Sancho and they make Champions League football, I think Haaland stays. I read reports on his dad wanting him to stay and develop. It also makes sense if they can give him a new contract to wait it out for next summer when a lot of clubs have got more money. Maybe they'll chance that this is Riola. He'll want the best deal possible. The flip side of that is if someone comes in with big money, he's gone.
It's so hard though, as you said. The one thing you'd say about Chelsea is that word development, though. And although Mason Mount is turning into a very good player, the jury's still out about how good they are at actually continuing to develop players, especially if one of the casualties this summer is Kai Havertz, because you know I think there's always a reluctancy for young players to sign for Chelsea because they don't all get opportunities. They are very ruthless, but money will talk in this, especially as Mino Raiola is the agent, because if Tuchel really wants him and if Roman really wants him and they offer the agent enough money and they offer Haaland's dad enough money, listen, all the talk of we want him to stay and develop goes out the window. Haaland for me as well, and I sound really harsh. Not harsh. I don't really think Haaland needs to develop that much more. I think he's ready. Like, I honestly, he'll get better, but he's just on point. Like, I saw him score that overhead kick last night, or that bicycle kick, and not quite an overhead kick. The first thing that went through my head is Igal's in the mud for calling him a fraud. Like,
yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, Igal called him a fraud and tried to backtrack and say, "Oh, it's not that. I just want to see more." Fam, that goal says, "Shut your mouth and accept it, bro." That's what that goal said.
I don't know. Do you know what? Though? It was only a year ago, though. It was only a year ago when I was talking about Haaland and how just before he signed for Dortmund, actually, where people were saying that people were calling him the white Lukaku, saying he had no football ability, slow, stuck in the mud, tapping merchant. And I remember listening to it and hearing the kind of bile toward, and I'm like, do you know what? When I only saw him in Champions League for Salzburg, and then I just started watching him. Does that make sense? So I started going back and watching games. I was using Scout. I was just studying this kid. And I was just blown away. You know, sometimes you see in same way of blown away with Kylian Mbappe. You only have to watch either of these two players once or twice in a full match, and you see it. They're just, to quote expressions, just oozing, just absolutely oozing sheer quality. And I actually think as well, and I know that Dortmund are a very well-run club, but Dortmund have a ceiling because Dortmund are always going to sell their players in the end. They're never going to create a great team. They can always create teams that are very good for periods of time, but they always lose them. Even when they won back-to-back titles, they lost everybody, right? Do you get what I mean? Like they're never going to hold team and create like a dynasty. And I think that'll also be in Haaland's mind. And it's about timing. I think going to Chelsea with Thomas Tuchel as your manager, with the way they play, I mean, just the way they move the ball into the box, Chelsea, right? If they just imagine Sancho and Haaland in this current Chelsea team.
Don't let me do that because I'll be sad, fam. I'll be sad. Listen,
no, I don't want to see that.
The only places that the only places that Haaland can go to now is Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City. I don't think Liverpool will be in for him. They'll probably try and get someone else. And personally, I think United will try, but I think we're behind those teams. I think we are.
It's
nothing to do with the size of the club.
For me, he's perfect fit for United. If I'm honest, when I look at him and I think about strikers, he is. Don't get me wrong, he's a great fit for Chelsea as well. But I think he's a perfect fit for United. He's what we're missing up front. Like,
do you know what I like about Haaland as well? He's also
gangly.
He's a prick. He's a knob, but like in a good
way. He's got them Zlatan vibes about him,
yeah. And I like that. Do you know what I mean? He's the kind of person, like when he came out the day after Mbappe scored, he scored his 2 goals and was like, there was no way I was letting Mbappe. I almost love, I mean, from a marketing point of view as well, and I'd love to get Cam's opinion on this and Alfie's from a marketer's background. We're on the edge of an Mbappe versus Haaland 10-year war. You want your club to have one of those players because all that is free marketing. Because football fan, you suddenly listen. I don't like the ideas of Martial or Pogba FCs again because those people are weird to me. Right, I support a club over a player, but from a marketing point of view, you're gonna get millions, tens of millions of fans that are gonna love Haaland, tens of millions that are gonna love Mbappe. If a war starts, the clubs that benefit from that in relation to the market inside, because everything you tweet is going to be about, like, say he plays for Man United or he's in a Chelsea shirt. Every Haaland fanboy is tweeting pictures of Haaland in a Chelsea shirt. Marketing wise, it's genius. So I think a lot of players are going to want him because of that as well. Does that make sense? It makes him such a hot commodity. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Terry, if you can get him. If you can get Haaland, you go for him. Like, in my opinion, there's plenty of tricky wingers, but when it comes to centre forwards, lethal finishers, the guys who win games for you, it's another level. I know you've got a different opinion, KJ, but I just when there's an elite striker, they're very hard to come by, very hard. So if you can get him, you go all out. I wouldn't care if a Man United, and I'm sure Chelsea fans feel the same about Chelsea, blew the whole budget on him. I feel like
this is where we differ. Like, I'm not blowing the whole thing, fam, just for Haaland, fam. And when you say, there's loads of tricky wingers, the list, where's this list of these competent, good, tricky wingers that can do a job at Man United? The list is almost the same size as the strikers that we need. When elite is available, no matter what position, you go after the elite. And right now, we need an elite winger.
I hear what you're saying.
Maybe more than an elite striker.
The hardest thing to do on the football pitch is put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, but Jadon Sancho could put it on a plate for you to pull it in the back of the net. You know what I mean?
For who? Cavani?
Yeah, to Cavani, but for one season.
We've only got one striker, KJ.
Like, we've got 2, but the other one's still got the training wheels on. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what? So the thing is, Haaland's amazing. Love it. When I look at Jadon Sancho, though, it still makes me. You got to remember this kid, right? For Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga, he's played 98 games. He's got 35 goals and 49 assists. That doesn't even compute to the volume of chances he's created. So that's what he's at. That's 70. 84 goal contributions in. This is the sickening thing about Jadon Sancho, right? It isn't just 84 goal contributions in 94 league games, 98 league games. It's 84 goal contributions in his first ever 98 games. Like he's only played 98 league games. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the bit about him that stands out. Like Haaland, for me, I get your point. He's a great goal scorer. Man United still need that balance on that right-hand side. I know Dan James scored the other day, but I've got no faith that he's going to turn his career around.
Yeah, Dan James ain't it. Diallo's still young. And every time I've mentioned, give Mason Greenwood a chance up front, let him develop there, all I get is, he's too young, too much pressure. Get someone in to learn off. As soon as I say we need a right winger, I get hit back with, but we've got Diallo. Tell me how that makes sense.
It doesn't make sense. Listen, we've got a lot of positions we need to fill. I do feel, though, that you're more likely to get a winger who can do a job and I know that's not good enough for Manchester United, you are to get an elite striker.
I do hear that. I mean, because there are only 2 or 3 elite. So I hear your point, and it's a good one. There's a comment here. We're going to go to calls in a minute. We did share the link in the chat box. If you want to come on and have your say for the next 15, 20 minutes or so, you can. Micah here says, imagine Mbappe to Liverpool and Haaland to United. The Premier League views a bit an all-time high. That would be the marketer's dream. What helped with the Ronaldo Messi debate is that it was Real Madrid and Barca, because you then get the club element on top, and it makes it potent. So you're absolutely right. If Mbappe was at Liverpool and Haaland was at Man United, it would be even more potent than if it was, if Mbappe is at Real Madrid and Haaland's at Man United, it's a little harder because they're not playing in the same league. And what you would get from both, if you had Mbappe on a really good run and Haaland on a bit of a drought in comparison, you just have people say, yeah, but this league's harder, more competitive. If they're in the same league and in rival teams at the top of the tree, there's no nonsense. It's just who is the best of the best. We'll do some super chats, then we're going to go to your calls. Tahir here says Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal owners will not spend.
There's that as well. One of the pagans.
No, we'll spend, but we'll go for Haaland and get Danny Ings. That's what happens.
No, not even Danny Ings, fam. Because that's too smart. Even that's too smart. Them man will be, I'm telling you, they're trying to bring back Tevez from Boca Juniors, fam. Bring back Tevez and that.
Comment here says you never mentioned Leon Bailey when United need a winger. I tell you why, because he ain't good enough.
Yeah, I love Leon Bailey, but bro, like the future of Jamaica and that, but he's not it, fam. He's not it, and plus he's a left-sided winger. He's a left winger. He can play right, but he's a left winger. So what we're gonna do? We want another left winger at the club. We've got too many. At least with Jadon Sancho, he's played predominantly on the right-hand side, and sometimes plays on the left. Like it's if we come out this summer again without a right winger who is called Jadon Sancho, I'm already sad as it is. I'm gonna be even more sad. Like that's what I mean. It's done. It's over. It is done, bro. It is done. This club, yeah.
Like, listen, when I say Leon Bailey, like Leon Bailey's good. I just feel like for me, Man United are in a position where we need to be looking for a level above. We need to be looking at Sancho level, Hudson-Odoi level, and stuff like that. There's no point signing level of player that we've already like sort of that good level instead of going after someone that's exceptional for me. But that's the problem. We always end up going for good. Do you know what I mean? Leon Bailey's a good player, but not good enough in the level that we need. We need to be going after superstars now. We're going to go to some calls here. First up, we were going to go to Lamin, but Lamin looks like he's Lamin's making his bed, as you can all see. So we
that's rude, fam. That's rude. Man's trying to enjoy himself.
Lamin, are you ready to come on now? Lamin, welcome back. Lamin.
Yo, Terry, what's going on? How are you?
Yeah, I just see you making your bed, mate.
You know, you gotta do them things there still.
Yes, you
do.
Move
the camera. They don't want to see nothing. They can't be putting nothing on this page.
My guy.
Glad you weren't doing anything else.
Yeah.
What do you want to say, Lamin?
Yeah, man. I was trying to get through. Even yesterday after the Chelsea show, like trying to get through, like, because David was pissing me off. I was just like, this guy. But you know, that's a conversation for another day still. But the Mason Mount agenda thing got to stop, though. That's just not right. Now I saw with the title like getting Sancho and Haaland, yeah, for Chelsea. I think I'll take Haaland because I think he's what we need right now, like a goal scorer. But adding Sancho in that, I just think it might just be too much in it. I mean, usually I would say yeah, get Sancho, but I think we got too many players in that position, and also you don't really want to have too many quality wingers in there, because then we still got Ziyech, we got Pulisic, and we also got Hudson-Odoi as well. So,
but you got Werner to go up front, no?
Yeah, and we got Werner who plays on the wing as well. So I don't know what are we gonna do, like adding Sancho to that mix.
Can I ask you a question as a Chelsea fan? Is he a wide player or a centre forward?
Werner, I see him as a wide player at this moment because he's not good enough to be. I mean, he can play as a forward, but not in the Premier League. He can't really hold the ball up and bring others into play. He's more better at running at people.
True, but he's got a similar play style to Jamie Vardy, and Jamie Vardy can play. Also, hold tight, Lady Freya in that. You know what I'm saying? Hold tight, Lady Freya in the background in that. Come on now.
He's not similar to Vardy. His link play's always been terrible. I'll be honest.
No, but like in terms of, but the greatest attributes are going in behind and finishing their chances.
Yeah, but Vardy finishes them, KJ. That's been the problem. Is that
that's true. That's true. I just believe Werner's out of form. I don't think he's a terrible striker. I just think he's out of form. Yeah. And he doesn't get played. His strengths really don't get played to at Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, he has improved though. Yep. One thing I would say about Chelsea, is that we are playing good football at this moment. Yeah. The only problem is that we're not finishing our chances.
Cat gang as well. Hey, come on, Freya. She knows about the backwards cat.
She walks around the house all day. She get with my hats. She got her big brother. She's always putting these snapbacks on. She walks around the house all day with them on, all day.
Yeah, come on, man. For real, man. I think if we add Haaland to this mix, it's gonna be trouble in the league, man. But I don't think we get Haaland if we don't get top 4, and.
You get
after, I mean, I don't know. I'll just wait.
You're unbeaten.
You will. Liverpool aren't making top 4, but you will.
Yeah, I mean, people say that, but you never know with the season because we haven't really faced any team yet that is really like a top team in my opinion. I don't count Tottenham as a top team. Our next game against United is going to be very telling. And then we face Atletico, and we still have to face Liverpool again. No matter how bad they're playing, it's still Liverpool, and I still get nervous playing them. We still have to play City again. We still have to play Leicester City again. So there's still tough games to come for Chelsea. And then I have to see how Tuchel basically performs in these games. Because it's all... We said the same thing about Lampard when he first did.
She just she just rubbed the hat, fam.
Right, can I have my hat back?
She's like, yeah, see you later, Pops. This hat is mine now. See ya.
Hat's gone.
The hat's gone, fam.
You just said no.
Hold tight, fam. My G, man, my G.
Yeah, listen, look, I just think that for me, Chelsea are just the kind of football club that can pull off these types of signings. They've done it in the past. I think they can do it again. And I mean, you got to think they did it this summer. Like when the world changes when you watch a player perform for your club. But Werner and Kai Havertz were not looked at as players miles behind Sancho. Thank you, darling. As she put her brother's hat on. Thank you. They weren't looked at as players that were miles behind Haaland and Sancho 9 months ago, a year ago. I'm not saying people said they were good, but they weren't. And that's the thing. So it isn't like Chelsea haven't signed players in the last year that are of similar levels and of similar quality, if that makes it. Like when you guys signed Hakim Ziyech, it was like this guy's going to come to the Premier League and perform to the same level as Bruno Fernandes in terms of goals, assists, creation. And he already looks like one of the injured parties here under Tuchel. I just don't think interestingly, but you thought having played for Ajax, maybe he would fit the kind of Tuchel system, the pressing game, the good movement, the high possession-based football. But clearly, there's something there that he doesn't quite like. Ben Chilwell's going to leave, I think. Ben Chilwell looks done. Like, he ain't even getting...
Yeah.
He's getting nowhere near...
Nah, there's no way Ben Chilwell will leave this summer. Or did you mean Chelsea in general?
No, I think he'll leave Chelsea. I think Chelsea might end up selling him. I think because the one good thing Chelsea have got from again, it's a financial element. Certain players they can sell into the market and say it's not about them being bad for Chelsea. They're just not in the new manager's plans. It helps you hold your value. Do you get where I'm coming from? If it was Lampard bought them for a year and then goes, actually, they don't work, well, they're flops. That means they're cheaper. So they can get a lot of their money back on the Ziyech's, on the Ben Chilwells. And then maybe
Pulisic is going to get sold, you know.
Pulisic could go.
Yeah.
Be
Don't worry
another
about him.
And that's the point I said. People that are saying, maybe not Chelsea fans, a lot of rivals saying, oh, it's too expensive. You've just raised over £100 million there in income. So that's half the money. Like there and then. We're going to add Dan to the show. I think Dan's a Chelsea fan. What do you want to say?
Hello there, can you hear me?
Yes, what do you want to say, bro?
I just want to say that we can't afford to buy Haaland right now this summer. We have to buy a CDM like Declan Rice, a very good CDM. Because we are.
I don't know if you will.
Yeah, Declan Rice was a Lampard target.
See,
you need right now.
If we need to get the best out of Kante and Jorginho, this players playing at the back, we need to get a good CDM that can cover the back line of our defense. So it gets more creative on our front. If we bring Haaland and we provide him with no ball, there is no.
My
he
view
will
is
not score. He will be a flop.
No, see, listen. If you look at Chelsea right now, I get Lamin's points. We've got to wait and see how you do against some bigger teams. Ati this week are going to be a test. Man United, some of the bigger sides, right? But you've not been having your midfield ripped open and your defense torn apart since Tuchel's been in. You haven't been finishing. If that pattern continues, it's a case of add better attackers. Like you don't need. Sometimes football fans want to like rewrite the world and remember systems and drills are they're not nonsense. They exist in football. Sometimes it's just we need a better player in that said position. I actually saw I had a Man United fan said to me recently that Donny van der Beek doesn't work at United because the system isn't well drilled enough, isn't worked enough. I saw the same person yesterday tweet that Thiago doesn't fit in at Liverpool because he isn't used to the pace of the Premier League. And I'm sitting there looking at it again, but Liverpool are well drilled, so there should be no excuse. The difference is sometimes a player joins your club or comes to your academy and they're just not good enough or they're just off the pace. And sometimes they never adapt and never improve. And other times they do. I think right now with Chelsea, it isn't the system that's stopping you from scoring. It's individuals just not being good enough at this moment in time. Do you get where I'm coming from? I think sometimes we like to overcomplicate things in football, and it's always yet the player hasn't had the arm around the shoulder. And maybe if we played more of a hexagon than a triangle, we'd score. Nah, if you just had a better player in that position, mate, it's quite simple.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I'll add to that, is that a lot of the teams that we've played this season, under Tuchel anyway, a lot of them just sat back and let us have the ball. I want to see us playing against a team that will fully press us and then see how we sort of handle that. And when we have the ball, it's all nice, having the nice passing and all of that, but the moment we get near the box and then you see the opposition like have all players back, it's like there's no creativity there. How many one-on-one chances do we create? It's always been like pass to the wingers, cross to the box, and hope Tammy Abraham can do something. And you obviously, if it's not Giroud, there's no hope in Abraham. Like he can't head anything.
Oh yeah, Bambi Abraham's
Robin, you're on the air. Robin, you're on the air. That big old yawn. We saw you, Robin. What do you want to say, bro? You're on mute.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Perfect.
Okay. So, are you gonna ask me some questions, or can I post some of mine?
You're here to ask questions or talk.
Yeah, cool. So my question is regarding the players, which there are many fans who are having agendas in Chelsea. For example, David and all. So they consider Odoi to be having a greater ceiling of ability to be reached the potential or something like that. But what's the use of that ceiling if he doesn't work enough to get to that point and to score consistently? You
What
have
player are you
posed this
talking about?
question multiple times to them, but they mentioned that he never got the chance and all those stuff. But now that he's getting the chance, he's not doing the work, and you expect him to be better than Mason Mount, who gives 100% every match.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Odoi and Mount. The comparison they are doing over there, telling that there is a higher ceiling
Who
for
in Mount?
Odoi.
Okay, Mason Mount and who?
Odoi.
Oh, Hudson
Hudson
Odoi.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, first of all, when you say when he's played under Tuchel, he's not been given the work or performing, he has.
Yeah, that's why he
played,
got subbed off within 20, 30
no,
minutes
no.
to yesterday.
Before that, how many games before that? What, 5 games, 4 games in
Yep.
a row?
Mm-hmm,
He started, he got subbed off because he was tired and he worked hard and he created chances. This notion that he's not
No,
working
he
hard,
said,
he's not performing is a nonsense. He one game where he came on, Tuchel wasn't pleased with what he saw and took him off. It's not an indicator to say that he's not working hard. He's not got the right attitude, nothing like that. That's completely wrong.
so don't you think that was the main reason why Frank didn't play him in the first place? It
No.
might be a reason.
I personally believe. Sorry, Terry. I personally believe Frank Lampard just didn't want to play Hudson-Odoi. The same reason he didn't want to play Tomori, because Tomori's gone to AC Milan and he's looking good. I hear AC Milan fans rave about Tomori. Nothing to do with attitude, nothing to do with application. Everything to do
But
with the
AC
manager's
Milan is
choices.
already in a winning position. They already have a team. They already have a setup, and he just fitted into that. So that's
But
why
he
they are
still needs
looking
to.
good.
But he still needs to work hard. He still needs to
That's what I'm
grind hard to
saying.
get into that spot.
If Odo isn't working hard,
Robin, can I ask you a question?
yeah,
Do you love Lampard? Were you disappointed Lampard was sacked?
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I thought so. Listen, I think what you're looking for here is confirmation bias that Lampard was right to drop particular players and to ostracize certain people. And look, I suppose proof's always going to be in the pudding. If come the summer, Hudson-Odoi is sold and Tuchel says he just doesn't follow instructions, he just doesn't listen, or maybe just the way he plays as an individual. And sometimes we can't always call it attitude. Sometimes just the way certain players play football, it just doesn't work for particular managers. I wouldn't read into if Tuchel and Hudson-Odoi are not a match made in heaven, I wouldn't use that as proof that Lampard was right not to play him as well. Until we actually hear from Lampard and Lampard tells us why, it's just one of those things we're never really going to truly understand. I don't think Lampard had any agenda against certain people. I think he picked the players that best suited them. Your favourite manager's problem is he never communicated properly. And I read Tomori's interview he gave, and he just said the thing, it was like, I was told to work harder, so I worked harder, then never got picked, but never got told why. No one's actually got an issue with Lampard not picking Tomori, not picking Hudson-Odoi. If you let people understand why they're not being picked, that was the biggest issue. But Robin, thank you for coming on the show and saying your points. Really appreciate it, bro. Final caller, we're going to get Mohammed comes on every day.
But he's going to bottle it. He's going to bottle it.
Mohammed, you going to speak? Hey, Mohammed.
There we go.
Hey, come on now. We love to see it.
First of all, big up to you.
Bro,
also big up to you, KG, all of you. I hope you guys, your friends, and your family, the transfer. You said that Chelsea's 2 main transfer targets are Haaland and Sancho. I don't think Haaland will sign for.
Mohammed, the internet connection is so poor, bro. We can't hear you. I'm so sorry, Mohammed. We've got super chat here from Paul Ross. Says, if anything, sell Rudy. He walks with the ball like he shit himself. Sell him to
So
Then
him, then Ben. So Ben Chilwell after.
Then Ben. Sorry. Okay. It's like Rudy throws games, just gets chances. Nah, he'll just walk with the ball and pass to the closest man. Aaron here says, morning, Terry. It was amazing last night to share my thoughts on the Merseyside derby. Will the StreamYard link be shared? It has been shared, but we are coming to an end because I need to get prepped and get ready because I'm covering all 4 games today. I've got the busiest day of my life. Make sure you're here.
Madman.
Only for the Football Terrace, covering every game. The lineups are out, by the way. I've heard rumors, and it isn't true. I saw Ali and Bale trending and thought, they must be starting. And actually, Ali's on the bench and Bale's on the bench. But why are they trending?
Oh, because Bale scored on Thursday, and people thought that meant he was going to be starting.
He scored against a team called, is it like
Wolfsburger?
Yeah, do you know, it was mad, right? I actually saw a Tottenham fan tweet and say it took 10 minutes after the game started for him to realise they weren't playing Wolfsburg.
Wow.
He was like, we're beating Wolfsburg like 3-4-0. Nah, bruv, Wolfsburger. No one has ever... I've got an Austrian friend, right? He doesn't really like football. He ain't heard of him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Now listen, I remember when I first discovered Wolfsburger. It was last year in the Europa League, and I was like, Wolfsburg, like I saw someone got a group with Wolfsburg. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I saw another group with Wolfsburg. I was like, I was like, wait, what is this? Is there like their academy team or something? And it's like, no, it's Austria.
I remember that once because who's that? They actually share the stadium with Bayern Munich. Is it Munich 18, whatever they're called?
Oh, 1890 or something, or 1980.
Yeah, called 1860 Munich, I think they're called.
Yeah.
I swear there's a team called that, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And I remember just it was like an abbreviation in a group for a European game years ago. And I saw it and I was like, someone got Bayern Munich. Turned out it ain't them. I didn't know. Walter King here says, Terry, I was Lampard out, but when he left, I have not felt the same anymore. I really do miss Lampard. It's like breaking up with your girlfriend. Your girlfriend is your girlfriend. Your love is the club. It doesn't matter what, you know what I mean? It's like Lampard's, if your girlfriend throws away a pair of shoes, it shouldn't change your relationship. Do you know what I mean? It's how it is. You've got to love the club above and beyond everything else. I don't think football fans do anymore. It's gone. It's why people wear other club shirts. It's just
I don't understand modern day fans.
I see what you're doing. Nah, none of that today. None of that.
Yeah,
it's mad. Like Twitter's still going on about that, and I sort of sit there. A lot of people have messaged me privately, going, "But you don't like it, Terry. Why are you defending Tans?" Because she doesn't need abuse because of it. You know what I mean? It's like I don't even know how to explain that. Yes, I wouldn't personally wear any other team's kit, right? I wouldn't even want to put a jacket on of another football club if I was cold, right? I just wouldn't, right? That's me. But if Tans wants to wear a PSG shirt, let her. They got abuse her. Like, give her a bit of badness on the street. It's mad. It's an absolute.
It's very mad.
Yeah.
It's very mad.
It's weird. Like people have it nowadays. I'll go to that super chat in a minute of like trying to tell everybody else how they should live. And of course, there are certain things that we should police each other on. Bigotry, sexism, racism, bullying, like damaging people's mental health, telling lies about them on the internet, or like spreading rumors about them, or like even just abusing people online. Like I've always called this out on social media. There's a lot of big YouTubers that I always see like, I'm an advocate for mental health, and then they like lie about people, or they create nonsense. You get where I'm coming from? And it's like that kind of we should police each other on. Football sports people wear, music people listen to, food you like, all that sort of stuff. I'm like, do you know what? You gotta drop that shit out, bro. That isn't even worth energy. Do you get what in real terms?
Well, you know what's funny? The same people that call themselves liberal, liberalists and all that, are the same people saying you can't wear other team shirt. You shouldn't be able to. Your fam, where's the liberal in that, fam? I'm liberal when it comes to football shirts. The only thing I say no to is like if they're your rival, like a dying hard rival, you ain't wearing that shirt. But if there is some small team in your country or a team from abroad Do what you want, fam. Do what you want. Who cares, fam? I collect shirts. I go to places, and if they have a football team, I like to get their football shirt. I.e. Toronto FC. I.e. My parents was in Turkey. I've got a Galatasaray shirt.
Speaking of club traitors, David.
Lamin. Listen. So David. Lamin said, on stream that your issue with Mount is an issue and is borderline psychotic.
Are you going to?
And personally,
I'm just gonna wait for KJ to finish.
Yeah. Like Lamin was going so hard in on you. He was basically saying you're an idiot. And personally, I wouldn't have that.
David, Lamin called you a prick, bruv.
Yeah. all I'm saying, David, personally, I just wouldn't have that. Personally,
all I'm going to say about Mount is that I literally said yesterday he was the best player on the pitch. I did say that, but Mason Mount being our best player is part of the problem, not part of the solution. Because you are not winning a league title or a Champions League with Mason Mount as your best player.
You're also not winning a league title with the players around Mason Mount not being good enough.
But everyone can admit that. That's not a problem. But I'm sick of this.
David, the problem I have with you and your Mason Mount agenda, I'll call it that now, it's not I agree with you that Mason Mount was playing a lot of games under Lampard, I agree with that, But if you look at he's been our most creative player under Tuchel, and if you look at the performances and what he has been putting in, it's like you almost struggle to give the guy credit for what he's doing because you're so stuck in this agenda of like Mason Mount not being good enough. When he puts in a good performance, there's always a but at the end of your sentence. It's almost like trying to take away, but then you don't have the same energy when it comes to other players in the Chelsea team. So I've seen players put in terrible performances. It's like when Mason Mount put in a cross in the box and there's no one there to hit it, and it's a good ball. That's like, look at Mason Mount doing too much here. It's that I actually think Mason Mount could score a hat trick here in the game, and then miss one chance. They will come. It was a good. It was a good performance, but look at that one-on-one chance that he missed. Every young player has inconsistent games in them, and you keep talking about Mason Mount needs to add goals to it. But what I'm saying for a young player is that, okay, he's adding the performance. The goals will come. And I like that he's been our most creative player for someone so young. And he came from the academy as well. So I don't really just get this whole, I don't know, like it. I don't want to say like hate or whatever, but when you when you criticize something, it has to be based on logic. Right now, it's like you've made your mind up about Mason Mount, and you're not going to change regardless of what.
KJ will literally back me on this. KJ, am I not consistent with every single player about what I judge him?
Yeah, to be fair, when it comes to David's standards are so ridiculously high. There's just nothing like. It's unfair. Like I will call it, David. You are unfair on most footballers. That especially the ones you don't like. Like literally, you set a bar so high. It's just like, of course, they're not going to reach it, and of course, you get to criticize them for that.
I asked you, have you played football before, and what level of football have you played?
Yeah.
What level?
You played for Hogwarts.
Shut up, I did not. At Hogwarts, we didn't play football. Like,
okay, do you have the same standards that you have for Mason Mount for yourself?
Well, I play fullback, so no.
Okay, you're being a hypocrite there then. Unless you have that exact same standard for yourself that you set for Mason Mount.
I play fullback, so
that makes no difference. That makes no difference.
Wait, David, how many
the standards that you have for Mason Mount, do you have that for yourself?
KJ,
and not just in football, in anything that you do. I think
you know that 99 crossing? Yeah, it's in real life as well.
Is it?
Get out of here.
But like, no. When I played football, right? So I played right back. So obviously what I want from me is different. So I was like, try and be one of the best defenders on the field. Don't get beat down the line, so on and so forth. Those are the basics. I got pretty good at that because technically I was awful at football. That's one, like, because I play football so late, technically I was awful. So I couldn't do all the fancy, look at me do flicks and that. I had a little bit, but not too much.
You could get past Marcus Alonso, yeah?
I could get past, because he's slow as hell. I'm faster than Marcus Alonso. I'll beat him down line once. Once out of 50, I'll beat him down line. I'll do it.
Once out of 50.
I'll do it. Once out of 50, I'll do it. No problem. No, again, my thing with Mason is that everyone acts like yesterday. Jem came on and was like, "Oh, David, you can't have this agenda." He had a perfect game. That is where my issue is. It's not the fact that I can admit, I think he's been our second best player of the season. I think Thiago Silva's been our best one. I think on the Tuchel, Jorginho has actually been the best player, but I think Mason's been second. But suddenly when I say that Mason is second, everyone goes like, oh, wait, fuck, hates Mason Mount.
No, it's not that, David. It's not that, bro. Literally, it's like Lamin said, Mason Mount could drop an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. And you'll be sitting there be like, yeah, but it wasn't 10 out of 10, was it?
No,
that's
that's
not
you don't have the same energy of other players.
David has the same Mount energy that I see the Rashford haters. I saw United fans after we won 4-0 away from home talking about, yeah, I know it's a good night and everything, but Rashford should have had a hat-trick, shouldn't he? It's like, bro, he created the first 2 goals and then scored, but that wasn't enough. I hear that. Listen, boys, I'm going to go because the Spurs game starting in half an hour. We're live straight after that match. Make sure you're all tuning in today. All 4 match review shows. We're recording that United show as well. Got a big fan reaction show out tomorrow morning, which I'm excited about. KJ's back at midnight with Midnight Vibes. It's a huge day on the Football Terrace. The only place to be. Until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.